Fireflies.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah, I was impressed with the level of notes that it took.
Oh yeah, Chris's thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
I looked over it. I don't know, last week. It's pretty accurate.
Chase, I had a quick question about your character.
Mm-hmm.
So your smuggler, with connects into Gorna. It's like you're smuggling like supplies to, or who, like, where are you smuggling to? Gorna is the capital. Gorna is the capital where that's been taken over by the giants or by the enemy.
So I like to think that my character is like, he is like smuggling for the people. So he is trying to get like food, supplies, through giant territory to the people who need it. And maybe
perfect.
even also like smuggling people, like trying to get people to safe havens and stuff.
Oh
like that.
yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, so that is really, I love that. Like that's just a campaign right there. Yeah.
True.
Let me just see if you have Father
There-
Lady Maris. Okay. Okay, so that's now Chris's mom, which is interesting. Theron, Ranger Mentor. He taught me all that I know about the wilderness. And you have a cool reputation too. It is, I think, stats and skills, reputation. Hochoch. I've smuggled refugees
Across orc territory safely. That's a
across, orc territory safely. That is really cool. What a fun character.
Yeah, it's really cool how you can really, I don't know, spending the resource points to like get myself a reputation and like create some NPCs. It's very cool.
True. There's no, yeah, it's beautiful.
It's fun.
You know what? I've got a new laptop here, and my old monitor, I have two, like, I like split screen, because I hate playing Burning Wheel with just a tiny little monitor, like online games, right? So I usually like split the screen and I put the Roll20 up in front of me, and the monitor is my camera kind of, and I see you guys better that way. But now the other monitor is so old, it's not compatible with this laptop, and I was supposed to go down to a lower registration, or resolution, and I don't know, it wasn't working. But I'm not techie good like that, so. All right. So if I'm kind of like, missing a online social beat, it could be because of I don't actually see you. I'm looking at the Roll20 screen. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, but I'll do screen share. Coolio. Hey Chris,
Hello.
how's your life?
No complaints. I was just picking Ginny up from her sewing. She has my daughter's sewing. She's trying to get ready for Comic-Con, so she makes her own outfits there. So she's got 2 left.
That's so cool.
2 out of how many?
I think there's going to be it's 4 days. She tries to do 2 a day, so like 8, I think, is the really.
Oh my gosh,
a true cosplayer.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work.
Not for me. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, she's like Sanj again. They get into it, and she's got a room. I just close the door, and like again, it's like, and then we live near like near the metro station, so she can come back and forth from the convention center and change and all that stuff. She has all these friends, and it's like
so cute.
That would definitely make it easier, because if you had to like haul 8 costumes.
No, it's like it's like it's so intense. Like, I mean, it's huge, these Comic-Cons,
Chris lives downtown basically.
Yeah, I live in the city.
He lives in the city, so yeah, no, I don't think, Chris, these guys don't know so much about the creature that I'm building in the back.
Okay.
I've been like ever since Halloween 2019. I've been making costumes, and I've been making a lizard man out of I sculpt it. I sculpt
Yeah.
the pieces, like the face and the. Now I'm working on the back, and then I cast the sculpt, like the clay sculpt, and then get them like a negative mold, and then I liquid the inside, like I put rubber on the inside, and then pull it out and paint the whole thing. So it's like
Oh wow.
it's crazy amount of work. But
Yeah.
but the back that I'm doing right now is freaking amazing. I'll put a picture in the Discord.
I think I saw a picture of something of some lizard man that you were doing. I was probably on the Burning Wheel forums, I guess.
Oh yeah. Like in the art section or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because that sounds familiar. I have no such talents. I can't even paint minis. I would definitely not try to create a costume.
Yeah. Mini painting is not my thing either. I'm not
I
good
like
at
the
it.
idea of it, but
I don't
on both counts.
but I don't love the idea of playing with minis, of like the grid and all, like, moving 5
Yeah,
squares and
yeah.
10 squares. I find that really slows everything down.
Yeah, I've never been a big minis RPGer. I guess when I say minis, my brain is instantly like Warhammer 40K.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I have a bunch of Space Marines and stuff, but I'm hoping my kids will paint them and like have fun with it. But
Yeah, I love the design of their elves, man.
oh, the Eldar
Mm,
or Warhammer Fantasy, the High
both of
Elves.
them.
Cool,
They're
yeah.
Yeah.
just so crazy looking.
I have a friend, and she she plays in a campaign, and the dungeon master almost like every other week 3D prints the actual dungeon, makes all the little characters just for that session. So like
Whoa.
they go bananas over it, and it's more rough, right? Like it's more like it's not a grid; it's just to show them
Yeah,
like what's happening. But
Yeah.
I love it.
they get into it,
That's cool.
amazingly creative.
I
Yeah,
so
you can do it.
the way I guess the way I GM is I tend to be pretty I tend to run games where the players are more driving the action. So there's typically no way I could necessarily predict like a set piece they would be going to with that kind of, unless it was like some big thing we were building up to and we all knew that like, next week it's going to be attacking the wizard in his tower. But
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like though there's a lot of D&D groups that are not that though, for sure.
no, I think this is like the person sets everything. It's more like you're probably watching a cutscene in a video game, and you press the A button. It's not as yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
I made a kind of rough random encounter table because it's like Dungeons and Dragons like inspired random encounter table, and I have Fulton White Cloak asking about necromancy and witches in town. um, uh, Knights of the Grand March. No, wait, hold on. A horde of zombies, unfrozen from the winter. Because I just watched what's it called, Last of Us, and I don't know if you've seen it. It's really good. Hey, James, how's it
Guys,
going?
sorry, I apologize. I'm so used to using Discord for voice on RPGs. Completely forgot about. We even talked about it today, but I'm here.
All right, yeah. I guess we'll wait a few more minutes for Steven. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get the random encounter table is not that random, actually. It's pointed pointed to attack your BITs.
An hour ago, Stephen was posting kind of a countdown. So
Yeah.
He's probably on his stuck in traffic or something.
A big commute.
I don't know how big it is, but he,
it's
He
not that
has
long,
one.
but he does work for a family business and has a management position there and gets stuck with a lot of the meetings and stuff.
Yeah. At Sanj too.
Yep. Chris, I noticed you changed on your character sheet. Most of the stats and the info is all uh, like the same thing as before, like knight. But I think you must have just changed. At the top where it says life paths, you changed the last one.
because I couldn't when I went in your, because you had sent that link to the character burner. I couldn't, like when I read online, it said you had to become a knight, then you could go to a military order, but you had to have the knight. You had to go from knight to military order. You couldn't, but then you said you could ask for an exception. But then when the character burner wouldn't let you, I think you have to, like, to get military order, you have to have 5 life paths, I think, is what I read in the book online. But then, yeah.
But point being is like, if it like thematically, if you it's one or the other. Like we could look at it like the incident, the where you refuse to be an asshole,
To be more military, like breaking command.
and that would have been like disqualifying, right?
Yeah.
From being like you're a regular knight, like 4th life path, like your regular build, and you're out there doing your thing, and then you are kind of like up for a promotion into the military order or whatever, into the Knights of the Watch, but they you don't make it.
Well, it sounds like it's, yeah, go ahead, guys. So maybe someone who's done more on the.
What?
No, I was saying Kyle made it look like he might have wanted to said something on
Kyle,
military
yeah.
order.
Oh,
Kyle. Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I was thinking about something when you were talking about the. Yes, you do have to have. Well, it's not that you have to have 5 life paths to get to military order, but I think you have to have knight or something like that. But
Can't get to
Sanj
knight
was
number
essentially
4.
It's Squire
making
order.
the point I was gonna
it's
make
Squire. Okay.
is that you can always, like, it's always the GM's prerogative to be like, yeah, no, that's fine, you can go there. And
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll set that role aside, and you don't have to have a particular, what you think might be the most fitting life path to be a part of something.
Right.
The best way to
True,
represent
yeah.
being a member of the Watch would be with an affiliation. Whether you have a military order life path or not. But even without the
Yeah.
affiliation, if the party agrees, you can be a member of the Watch.
Or it's sort of like in normal times, it takes a long time, but since you're at war and they're kind of low on people, you kind of get field promoted into the military order.
Sure.
But you don't have the regular. It said, because it was like sort of saying, it said like 6 or 7, and then it gets, I'm just reading all the, which I love. But anyways, I actually like the rating the books and the different parts, because it's a great mechanic. But it sounds like extenuating circumstances, you kind of cut the line.
Well,
Could be
and
reasonable.
if you think about a life path as being what you learned from a given period in your life, a new member of the Watch wouldn't necessarily have, the skills and traits and things like that come with the military order life path. You're
Yeah.
at the beginning of that life path, not 3 or 4 years down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you didn't spend 4 years as
You're not a veteran of the military orders
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
No,
3
definitely.
years.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
then I'll go with that. It doesn't change much, Sanj, so I'll just keep it like that. And then maybe I think it's like, instead of the vow, maybe there's just something, but I think we can keep most of it from there.
But yeah, I think everything is good on your character sheet as is.
And I think I changed the belief.
The 3rd belief, which is similar to the 1st belief, that one is
No,
still
I
the
didn't
same.
change it?
No.
1 second. I thought I changed it. 1 second. Let me, because I put Did you?
It says, I believe that redemption and reclaiming my identity are intertwined by proving my valor in battle against the giants.
Shit. Oh no, I didn't save. Okay, I was trying. I had put something about my brother, half brother. One section. I'll reread it as we're talking.
Oh yeah. You wrote that somewhere else. Yeah.
Also, Steven is trying to. He said he was having internet problems. He said he's trying to join right now.
Sick.
Okay.
Sick. Sometimes in a burning wheel session, like the longest part of the whole game is everybody reciting their beliefs and at the end awarding artha because you're going through all bits, but it's slow in the beginning, and then as we get more familiar it just moves faster. And I think definitely we have to do that at the beginning of this game, right? Little kind of like setting like setting setup setting situation setting expose, and then beliefs, instincts, and traits of everybody, and then we'll start play.
Then I got excited. I realized I was like talking to the guy at the store. I'm like, oh, I need some dice and stuff. And I didn't look, and then I realized I bought like 24 dice. I'm like, I don't think there's an op 24 thing in my path here, but yeah.
That would be impressive.
Okay.
That would be impressive.
That's West End Game Star Wars amounts of dice.
That's it. That's true. Yeah.
If anybody played that back in the 80s.
I think I remember my hugest tally of dice to roll was 19. Yeah, wow. 19. I spent the deeds. I doubled my dice. I agreed. It was a pretty big roll.
Steven, welcome.
Steven.
Hey, Steven, how's it going?
Hey, Steven.
That looks like a frozen screen.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
You're super choppy like a robot on low power mode.
That sucks.
All right.
What happened?
I think he's going to try. I think he was saying he's going to try something else.
Yeah. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to change my icon in the bottom left.
Oh, there's
on Roll20?
way to...
Yeah.
Oh, do you want it like
right now it's just a...
Yeah, I set it that way because
okay.
Since we're not really using Roll20 for video,
yep.
I collapsed all of those. You want me to increase it for you?
No. I mean, I can.
You have a character picture there, I guess. Is that why?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, let me bring that up.
I'll pop it into the chat.
No worries.
Hey, Chase, did we agree? Did you know? Did we know of each other, or did I know of you before I came back?
So I think you probably do know me. My general, I guess my backstory I have in mind is, kind of a la Ned Stark. I like to think that our father kind of brought me into his court to kind of grow up. And I spent a number of years there. But before I kind of struck out and went on my own. I think you're a couple years
like Jon Snow or Ned Stark?
Yeah.
Okay, so more like you were like Jon Snow, like you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have a belief that says that I hope that Lucan can see me as a brother instead of not dismiss me. So it's funny how when you say something like that, it also sets a precedent for Chris to actually kind of fight that. Don't just give it to him,
Yeah.
Be a bit of a dick,
I feel like we probably have not seen each other for a long time.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you're not a family secret. I would have seen you in certain things. But again, it's like our father was a larger than life character.
Mhm.
And okay, got it.
I did
I'm ready.
spend. This does affect you. I did spend one of my resources from a relationship. I named our mother Lady Maris.
Nice.
I made her our father's widow. Basically, she hated me. Super spiteful that I existed and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. I love it. It's like a little family drama, right?
And then my instinct is I will always defend my family's honor, which Sandra's gonna poke. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm
well,
so
so that
interested.
is Lady Maris was the legitimated wife.
Yes, this is the
And
father's
it's
widow. Yeah,
Chris's mother, but
Should
you're
we?
like my
should we-
stepmother. Yeah,
Should we just
exactly.
check with James if okay, trying to sign into Zoom now, should we ask Stephen if we should do by Discord, if that would be easier? Like I don't know.
It might be. I don't know. We typically
Oh,
play
you
in
see,
Discord.
seems to
He
be
doesn't.
logging it out. I see him there. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, let's see if he's got it.
You
Steven,
okay?
how you doing?
We're good. How are you?
This any better?
Yes.
Way better, yeah.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had a power outage and I had to reset both the modem and the wireless access point. So before I was trying to do it.
Oh, okay. So you're actually perfect right now. All right.
Hey, Chase,
Awesome.
Chase, can you just put in the Discord the spelling of the mother's name? Because
Yeah, I got you.
I don't want to make it up. Thanks.
Okay, folks. Let's just roll right in, okay? I wanted to give you just ask a question and a group discussion about the season that we start in. I've been thinking between it being winter or it being approaching spring. This is a question for me is everybody kind of knows that in winter the war is on pause. Okay, it's too freaking cold for both sides, orcs and humans together, and giants or whatever, to battle on this field. And it's also heavy winter, so there's just like it's like Canada in the 70s, 4 or 5 feet of snow everywhere. It's brutal. So if we do winter, there's like a pause in the the pressure of the war on you guys, right? If we come close to spring, like I was thinking a month to spring, there's activity in the village in Hochoch getting ready for that day, and there's mustering and there's shoveling and there's work to be done to prepare for the spring campaign, right? This is it, we're going to take it. And so I'm trying to choose like where do you want to be, or do you want to be right at spring and like in 2 or 3 days everybody's mustering off, because I think like we want to see if there is an axe, and if you have the axe, we want to see you riding into battle with the axe, right, and slaying giants. Like that's gonna be chapter 2 or 3 of the arc, right, if we get there, right? So I do want to give you guys a good chance at getting this thing, but I don't want to make this is an expedition into dangerous lands involving all sorts of detours and turns. So I think it should be like give you a bit more time than 2 or 3 days. So I'm thinking either a month or 2 months, like some kind of period. What are you all feeling there?
I agree with you. And weather, as I think we've all experienced, can be predictable. We may think that the season for campaigning again is a month out, and it may be 2 months. So I think narratively, you have a little bit of flexibility to keep things interesting, and we don't have to have a calendar with it is 5 days until muster.
Okay, great. So we'll say like the calendar has I'm grabbing my 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 World of Greyhawk supplement,
Nice.
and this is from 1980 whatever, and it says the it's Sunzeb, okay? In Elven, it's called Lacy Snows, and we're like kind of a couple of months away from spring, which is called Fireseek. No, not Fireseek. Readying. Month of readying is so Sunzeb, then Fireseek, and then readying. Okay, winter.
Oh, it's called sun, like SUN, like sun's ebb, like the sun is ebbing.
Yes.
Oh, so it's a particular time of weakness for Pelorians.
Interesting. Interesting. Especially if we go with those like codex, things, right? So we'll roll with that punch at some point. That's really cool. Okay.
Hey, Sand, one more thing. So I rewrote it. So my third belief is I'm the eldest of the family and must keep my mother and half brother safe from the war and the potential fall of our house. I'm not close to my half brother due to us growing apart, and I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of our mother and him as she hates his existence.
Nice.
Chase,
So
how's that work?
Yeah,
so
sounds
let's
awesome.
why don't you read all your go. Let's do that now. We'll go through everybody's character. So read your first belief, second belief.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah. So my first belief is I will step out from beneath my father's heroic shadow and forge my own legend in Geoff. Though I was exiled from the Knights of Foltest, I'll return to my homeland with accomplishments worthy of the Fenvalor name. That's my first belief. And then the second belief is I believe that my act of mercy, though condemned by the Knights, was just. The order preaches the light of protection and healing. It demands unwavering harshness in battle. I am torn between their doctrine and my own sense of compassion, and will strive to find a balance that honors both my beliefs and the order's expectations. That's number 2. And then the third one was the kind of older brothers trying to, keep the family together after our father died, and kind of imagining that it wasn't, it's all kind of caught up in the war and all that stuff, and that the mother's not reacting well to it, right? Like she's not like, she's kind of lost in it,
Yeah. So about the mother, I didn't want her in Hochoch.
That's fine.
I wanted her, at Castle Fenvalor, and then we'll see what happens with that.
That's fine.
And,
that's fine.
And what are your instincts?
I always face danger with my companions and never run. Is the instincts or traits?
Instincts.
Okay. I remove my armor only when behind castle walls. And then the third one is I always defend my family's honor.
And traits?
Mark of privilege, because that's part of the life path. Sworn homage or vow, I think that's what you were saying, Zan, just sort of something around whether it's the order or the knights.
Okay.
1,000-yard stare, which I think is super cool. And then because I've seen a lot of fighting in the last couple of years. And then my last one is missing digit. So I got giant stepped on my hand and lost a finger. Yeah.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Amazing. And you have relationships or reputations?
Yeah. So the relationship I have, Sir Thalden, who's my mentor, who was also, but he's still in the watch. So he was the one that had to denounce me, but he still wasn't sure. He had to do it because it was part of the order. I put Duke Valerith, who's the one that fostered me. So he's a noble, just in case that comes to him. He's in a town closer to the Grand March. Kellen. And then I put a local priest that was basically, he's the forbidden one, sort of like a priest that is in the town, but I haven't named him yet. That's sort of something I tried to figure out, something local. And then the father,
Forbidden.
but I guess the father, do you have to put the father in there?
No,
Okay.
you don't need
And
to.
then I don't have to put Kellen in, you said, right? Because
No.
It's part of the thing. Okay, so I got to still probably add.
Okay,
buffer
that's
points.
cool though. Like something might come up and spur some idea, right?
Yeah.
That's totally cool. And was it the Duke of Val? Is a Duke of
Duke
Bissell?
Valorian. Yeah, he's a Duke in Bissell, which is I
Whoa.
put in the Greyhawk town.
So
Yeah.
he's super powerful. Nice.
That's the big one. Yeah.
All right. And this guy Sir Thalden is. Do you see him like as like an equal to you, or
No, he's the mentor. He was the one.
Oh,
Like I
mentor.
was his squire.
Okay, you were his squire. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go on to Kyle.
I'm Torvik Torolfsson, the mountain clans. I'm of Hard Snow Hall, born artificer, ardent tyro artificer, adventurer. Beliefs are as follows. Listen. The witch says a ghost knows something about the axe. Ghosts are all liars. No matter what the ghost says, I'll convince everyone that we should first search the ruins of Dun Kazdroth. Because we all know that's where it really is. By Moradin's beard, but something queer is happening to me, and I must know what. No civilized folk will be of use, as those hate-worthy Sewell did this. I'll have to beat answers out of something foul that serves those giants. Let these lowland fools call me stubborn, so long as they still have the living breath to do it. I'll stand with these folks against any foe, monstrous or otherwise, with sense and steel, no matter what it costs me. And then my dwarven oath, I swore to Uncle Vilik that I would do everything in my power to recover the Dverger Iron Axe of the Dwarvish Lords, that he is convinced will be found amidst Goff's ruin.
It's a very good Swedish accent.
Instincts. Always take a closer look, because I have second sight. Always laugh at a joke, especially puns. Never trust sorcery. Traits. Bearded, determined, humility, adventurer, accustomed to the dark, greed, oathsworn, shaped from earth and stone, second sight, stout, tough. My relationships, I've one with Uncle Vilik, a rune-casting Longbeard. Everyone else in the clan thinks is mad and dangerous.
Do you I forgot to ask both of you guys, did you buy, do you have like armor and like you have, Kyle has no armor. Chris, do you have armor
Yeah, but then that's about it. That's
armor and weapons?
and a sword, yeah.
Yeah, cool. But armor is good. Do you remember if it's chain or
It says I got it plated, but it's like okay plate.
Yeah, run of the mill plate.
Yeah.
That's still sick. Really good quality armor in this game. Yeah. Kyle, I wanted to. There was one. I found it really funny that you put humility as a trait.
Oh, I had to.
Yeah.
It's from Ardent.
Ardent
or Tyro. Oh. It's one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, because your superiors kind of like beat it into you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have two affiliations: Clan Yarn Trailer, and also the Dungeon Delvers of Greyhawk, which is the Right Honorable Society of Dungeon Delvers of the Realm of Greyhawk. I am a member in good standing. And he doesn't have any reputations. I have a manling axe, which is fine. I keep it sharp, but it is not desirable.
Oh shit! You don't have a dwarven axe.
No, I spent most of
you bought good relationships and affiliations.
Some of those were free. What I really spent my money on was traveling gear, mending tools, herbalism tools, and thieves tools. So I bought a bunch of tools.
Cool. I like it.
And Chronicles. So
Chronicles too.
And I didn't have a ton of money. If I'd done my original build, which was like going through like the dwarf nobility, I would have had a lot more, but I don't know. This path seemed more interesting. So.
He's cool. He's very cool. He's pretty potent though. Like already he seems got a lot going for him. Okay, Chase, you're next on my screen here, so
All right.
let's hear from you.
Yeah. So Keelan, my first belief is my father's ghost whispers of the Axe of the Dwarven Lords. If I can claim it, I'll prove I'm more than the bastard he left behind. I must find who last held the axe and where. Number 2, I'll stand up for Lucarn's honor and see his rank restored. Maybe then he'll see me not as a stranger, but as his brother. Number 3,
Nice.
a name doesn't make a leader, deeds do. I'll take the risks no one else will and prove I don't need a name.
Nice.
And then instincts, I've got always check for an escape route before taking action, always scout ahead in unfamiliar territory, and hide first, think later. And my traits, I have loner, paranoid, and then the cultural traits, clannish, lyrical, down to earth. And then I have the bastard trait, mark of privilege, and I picked up fearless as well.
Cool. I love fearless is great. Oh yeah, I forgot everybody. If you're Flan, like Chris, your character is native to this valley. He's Flan, so you would have the cultural traits of down to earth, lyrical, and what was the last one?
Clannish was the one.
Clannish, clannish. Like, I kind of meant like,
Those die traits or call on traits?
they're just character
Character.
traits.
Okay, just character traits. Okay.
Yeah. So you play into them, and if you can, if you want. Awesome. And relationships, reputations.
Yeah. I made Lady Maris. She's my father's widow, like my stepmother. Growing up, she was always spiteful of my existence. That never changed. And then I made like a mentor, my ranger mentor character, survivalist. His name is Theron. He taught me all I know about the wilderness, how to fight and stay alive. Then I picked up a reputation in Hochoch. I've smuggled refugees and supplies across orc territory safely. It's a local reputation. I did pick up the small cottage in Hochoch as well. And then I did pick up some. I do have armor. I have my sword, my bow. I did pick up a riding mount as well.
Nice.
Traveling gear. I do have shoes.
Good. You paid for it. Good. Awesome. Great. James, let's hear from you.
Okay. Mine are honestly a couple weeks old. So I'm up for changing any of them. I will convince Kalarn to believe his father's ghost and lead us to reclaim the axe. Second one was the dead do not lie. If they speak, it is because the truth demands to be heard. Looking back on that, that might almost make a better instinct, and like always believe what a spirit tells me. So I may be updating that in the future. My third belief is the dead of Geoff cry out for voice and purpose. I will bind their stories and rights into a new order and earn their loyalty through service and remembrance. And what I'm looking to do with that one is basically work on improving my reputations and order affiliation with spirits mechanically, and do things to pursue that. Because I wanted a belief that kind of tied into the mechanics a little bit, to kind of illustrate how they can play together.
Cool. I did, you know what? There was something about that first belief. So in the first belief, you're saying, I will convince Kellen to believe his father, right?
Yes.
So therefore, Kellen, Chase playing Kellen, you kind of have to try and resist that, like don't be immediately. So, but you have a belief, I think, saying that you do believe your father and you will go for the axe. So there's
then I should update mine then.
Maybe you update yours because yours was right off the gate from the first night.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. So I will work on a second belief on that.
Yeah. The way I have mine set up is, that my father's ghost whispers of it. Not necessarily that I like straight up believe it, but I'm more concerned with claiming what it like symbolically means, I guess.
Sure.
Cool.
So Well, James, what if your first belief? I know we talked about our first scene being something about like you're summoning the ghost. So what if it's still that, but it's not to convince Kellen? It's I imagine ghosts can't just constantly manifest. Like there's some limiting factor. So what if you're summoning the ghost because we're trying to get the information now from the ghost, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
need to know what it knew.
I'll summon Kellen's father and convince him to tell us um, of the
You-
axe,
Yeah, you can bind it to
because
lead it,
then I'd need to successfully bind it and get a service from it.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. You're updating.
Yep. My instincts are always listen to the omens because I have omen wise.
Nice.
Never burn a body unless I've spoken with its spirit. And when someone accuses me of lying or madness, tell them what only the dead could know. And I'm not sure that that's a great instinct because I don't necessarily have that information without having summoned them.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Um,
it's not like there's all these live ghosts just flying
yeah,
around,
exactly.
hanging
Yeah.
around people, and you can listen
Yep.
to them. It's
Yep.
different. It's you have to summon it.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is not as immediate as an instinct ought to be.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll
And you
work on
said
that.
what happens if you? What's the mechanics of summoning? Like you have like is it
It's quite a big
hard?
deal.
Is it?
It's elaborate.
Yeah. The first thing I need to do is circulate a circle, basically make a magical summoning circle, and possibly up to 2 other circles if I want to protect us and things like that. And then summon it, and then I need to bargain with the spirit for whatever service I want.
Oh,
So
so
it's not a
summoning it doesn't guarantee compliance or
nope, nope,
okay.
it doesn't. And there's always a price to be paid with summoning. I've never played a summoner before, mostly because the price is pretty high. Spirits are the easiest thing to summon, and the only thing they ask for is tribute. But that's an OB3 or OB4 resource test every time I want a service from them. And maybe our knights can make that kind of a resource test, but I certainly can't. I've got a B0 resources. I'm not making an OB3 test.
Yeah, you have
Um,
to kind of
so I either need to figure out how to bargain them down to something I can do, or get someone else to pay for it.
well, how much like what use is money to a spirit, It's got to
Well,
be
it's mechanically it's a resources test, but thematically it's building a shrine to them for their ancestors to worship at, or things like that.
wow, really
Yeah, it's
interesting.
not giving them, not so much giving them coin as spending money to advance what they actually want.
Okay,
Have
well,
candles lit at the temple or things like that.
Can they ask you to do things like go and avenge me or
Sure.
distribute? Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine mechanically it doesn't say anything about that, but that's entirely up to Sanj to say, yeah, he'll do that if you do this. So
I think I have some great ideas.
and I suspect we can do that as almost a
Duel of
duel
Wits.
of wits.
Yeah.
Instead of paying tribute. Paying tribute is just, hey, this is the standard. I I have this shrine built to your ancestor, to your memory, and you will go and do this thing for me. But once I've summoned them, you can actually talk to them and have relationships and things like that. So if there's something that they want, yeah, we could totally have a duel of wits or something like that, or just strike a bargain for their service.
Cool.
So my traits.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
traits. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
My traits are a little crazy, batshit, and disturbed. Those are my 3 required life path traits. So, there's a reason I was not in the village itself. I was in a little hut on the outskirts beyond the village. I provided a useful service, but no one actually wanted to have me around.
I love that
Down to,
batshit is actually a trait. It's
oh yeah, and in fact, it's a required trait for one of my life paths.
amazing.
I think every recluse wizard I think is batshit, unless they buy it off. The three cultural traits, and then dreamer, which is I think it's listed as a die trait. Basically, it's just a tool for the GM to pass information along if they want. She
It's cool.
has
I like
prophetic
it.
dreams, basically. Yeah.
It's very
Gift,
thematic. Yeah.
yep. Gifted, which makes it much easier to summon things. Technically, you can do it without it, but it's much more difficult. Touch of Ages, which is basically psychometry. She can touch something and learn something about its last owner's past,
That's so cool.
which I really think is great for summoning a ghost.
Yeah, and when you find that um drow poison tipped arrow in the
Yep,
forest.
yep. But I can totally see her, someone coming to her and saying, I need to speak to my husband. Saying, okay, do you have anything of his
Oh
that I
yeah.
can hold? Because that will make summoning him much easier.
Oh, that's really interesting.
How
You
old
know,
is
so
she, by the way?
Yeah, we should give you a
she
plus
is
one gift for that.
35.
Okay.
And I really like
Crippet.
the old woman, man.
Mhm.
Sorry.
All
And then
right.
I also have driven, which is a call on for summoning.
Oh, great. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked
And do
about
you
that.
have any relationships or
I have I need to run it back through chart again. I think I have about 2 points that I have not spent yet.
okay,
So enough for like a minor hateful relationship or a forbidden relationship or something like that.
that's awesome. That'll be
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Okay. Stephen, your turn. Um, just tip that camera down a little bit. We see
My
your bald
apologies.
pate.
Yes, it has a nice shine
Yours.
to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Glenn Coggin is my character. He's 26 years old. Um, First belief is Hero Ren needs my assistance. I will help them make sure they feel the light of Pelor. Um, that was the first belief. So if it needs to be restructured a little bit, um, that is certainly the most disposable one. The second one is the MF in charge of the temple needs to interact with the world. I'll get their support and blessing for retrieving the axe. I only have a B1 resource, but the temple itself, I think, would have more. And I think that would be something that that could work into it. And then Thalira Venshade is my connection to the physical world. I will protect her and her hives. One of the things that I spent, I think, 20 points of resources on was farm. And thanks to a comment from either Kyle or James, I want to color that as beehives and making some mead, not an industrial scale thing, but enough to kind of pay for itself. The instincts that I have are praise Pelor, be kind, keep my sword with me as a last resort. Character traits are ideologue, lyrical, down to earth, and clannish. Nitrates are mark of privilege, tonsured, invested. The relationships that I have are Pelira Venshade, wife, beekeeper, mead maker, and burning her up, she is half elvish. Skills that I have center around religious stuff. Of note, I did take the field dressing at B3, and I have sword at B5. Most other things are at B2, including life-wise, because why not? Equipment is a writing animal, shoes, personal effects, clothes, run-of-the-mill light chainmail, and a run-of-the-mill sword. I do have a run-of-the-mill crossbow, but I think I'm going to trade that out for a complicated relationship with the main priest of the Pelorian Temple. I have a reputation as a just priest of Pelor. I have affiliation with the nobility from the Mark of Privilege, and then another 1D affiliation with Pelor's religious followers, and a 1D relationship with the Pelorian Temple.
Wow, it's heavy duty. Quite beefy there.
It is, and I checked it, but it seems the affiliations all come from traits
Yeah.
picked up on the life paths. So I think I did everything right, but if there is something that needs to get retconned,
It's okay. No, I think you probably did it all right using chard and all that. So
Yeah.
it's no, but in general, I meant all of the characters of 4 life paths have a history and have some like some gravitas already, right? Like you're not complete bumpkin novices, and that's going to be great. So let's set the scene. Well, do we need to kind of like just talk about what we discussed last session and how that sets us up for today? The last session was the consensus we came to was that okay, everybody's written beliefs about the ghost that has said that there's the Axe of Dwarvish Lords available. It is somewhere out there, not too far. And that ghost came to Era, and Era was like, I don't know any, no.
I thought we were going to start with, like, we were going to we were
Well,
going to do the summoning to start.
I think we what we said was that this ghost came to James because and said, you have to find my blah,
Okay,
blah,
okay,
blah.
okay. Yeah,
I
okay.
have something for him. And then Era goes and says, hey, Glenn, Father Glenn, you won't believe what happened to me, but there's this there. And Father Glenn's like, okay, I have, or Brother Glenn, Brother Glenn says, oh, well, there's this guy, his name is Kellen. And then, so I kind of think we can start at like that meeting, where a meeting is set up, maybe at the farmhouse, right? Where the news is, or maybe the news has already been revealed because you already have beliefs to that effect, right? We don't want to retcon that and change beliefs and everything. So Brother Glenn comes to Kellen and comes to Kellen, who, and Lucarn is kind of with him because he's like a bodyguard we had discussed, right? And says, there's I don't know, but there's a woman who says that she's been contacted by a spirit who's your father, and both of you are kind of shocked because and whatever, maybe Lucarn is sort of like, well, why did he ask for Kellen? Why not me? I'm the actual, like, whatever son. And so you're incredulous, you don't believe it, and now we come to the actual situation of, okay, do it again, call him forth and let's speak to him in person.
Okay.
And
So how long has the
I haven't
father been
figured
dead?
out
How long is it recent, or has it been a while? How long?
it's all within days. Like I think I think it's all happened, like that whole story happened like just a couple of days ago or yesterday, and everything's moving fast because there is that mustering and getting ready and talk about the campaign that is going to start in the spring. But Kyle, how do we incorporate your character into the trio, into the 4 of these guys, into the story of the axe and all that? You have beliefs. Yeah.
Well, Glenn and Torvig adventured together.
Ah, great. right?
And Torvig had been talking to his crazy Uncle Villic about the Axe of Dwarvish Lords, or the Dverg Heron Axe, and he was coming to Torvig to be like, "Hey, we should go on an expedition," and it just what's the word where two things kismet, not kismet.
Coincidence?
No, it's not the word. It's something like
Synchronicity?
coincidence, but when things seem to be happening,
Simpatico.
yeah, something like that. Synchronicity, or
Synchronicity, I believe, is the word you're looking for.
could be, yeah. Torvik showed up when Ira did, and so that further convinced probably Glenn that, oh well, this is not just a crazy head wizard lady.
So at this point in our story in Greyhawk, I, I like also to assume that the treaty of peace between all the warring factions around the world has not been signed. Okay, so we're kind of rolling back the timeline a little bit. It's not 591 CY, it's like 589 CY. Okay, so we can go from here. So there's still like tremendous amount of resources and manpower and supplies moving to the north towards the battle far north. I'm talking hundreds of miles past two or three countries, past where Chris was born and raised, where the fight against Ayuz, the Cambion Lord of the North, and his barbarian and demon hordes is happening with all the big countries there. So it's still like the early, 2 years of war right now, and half of the country of Geoff is overtaken by ruins. There's like basically a river that cuts through half of it, and that is like the demarcation line, more or less. And the city is swelling with refugees. Many of them, during the winter, people hardier of the refugees come into town with, the frozen bodies of their relatives on sleds. In Hochoch has now become a garrison town, and the Knights of the Watch have come here from the neighboring country of Grand March on a mission of rescue. And basically because the whole Joffite army and longbowmen were destroyed, and they're kind of leaderless. The Duke of Geoff, who's like the king of Geoff, in all intents and purposes, he's been missing in action. He apparently took a wound that poisoned him in the beginnings of the war 2 years ago, and he's now not in Hochoch. He's not there for his people at all, and he's in Keoland, which is like the old capital that Geoff was part of before it gained its independence. Okay, he's at court, if you would, and that causes a little bit of consternation in among the Joffites, and many of them are flocking. Many, especially young men and women. We're gonna try and young men and women are flocking to the military might of the Knights of the Watch and joining their ranks and preparing. So I imagine like the way the area around the keep and it has been kind of cleared, and there's training grounds there even in the wintertime, maybe next to the stables, and young farmers are learning how to be spearmen. Also, there's the town itself is not big enough to hold all the refugees, and there's like a whole encampment of refugees to the north, or the back end of the village. If you would think, the city sits right nestled in the town sits around a river, and to its kind of northwest is the passageway that leads to the rest of Geoff, and it's bordered on its north and south flank by forest. The north side is the dim forest, and the south side is the ointwood. And you can see, I mean, in the distance, there is all the way to the north, there's like a huge mountain range that you can see its white peaks in the daytime. And I even imagine in this kind of, Greyhawk world of many gods, that in the market square, there are, mad prophets of new gods, calling all calamity. This is the end of days, really, demons walk the land, like that. The giants have risen from the ashes and come to claim these lands, right? Join the even like join the ranks of Foltest the One Eye, he of the blinding light, who sees all and banishes evil, right? There are warrior societies developing with train seasoned warriors and young recruits in like special styles of warfare. I kind of imagine like there's even like a dwarven Achilles biters, like ankle smashers brigade, and there is just a whole nest of things going on. And so let's now do a little zoom in to kind of like a flyover of the village, and head a little bit north past the walls to up this kind of road that leaves out of the north gate towards the dim forest. And there were traditionally the farmlands of this neck of the woods, just on the borders of the dim forest. And you come up to we see Brother Glenn's farmhouse. It's what time of day do we like this to be? Nighttime, daytime? I think nighttime. So because it is one thing I didn't mention, that it is, since the Knights of the Watch are so militant in their beliefs about lawful goodness, there is a little bit of nervousness, I think, on Brother Glenn's part in communicating and having a friendship with the weird crazy witch of the dim forest, who has a little hut out there, right? And she came to you, and you're kind of a little nervous about having all of this happening at your doorstep, really. So I think this meeting is a clandestine meeting that will happen at night on a cold minus 15 degrees Celsius winter eve in Sunzeb. Somebody, let's go. Let's pick up the narrative from here.
Opens the door and says welcome as he smiles, and is sincere about it. Kind of recognizes that all of us are doing things that we don't necessarily want to do and wouldn't have chosen for ourselves. And he still wishes that he was being a priest instead of becoming really good at cutting people into little bits. So while he is concerned about Ira, he also sees working with her as a chance to make sure that she just keeps talking to him and doesn't start getting other ideas like, necromancy.
The natural evolution.
I think so.
What are you wearing at this time?
I'm just kind of wearing normal well, it's winter, so probably some heavy clothes. Um, don't want to have to burn up too much wood, but that's certainly the stockpile is getting low.
Yeah. Cool. Era, you are, I guess, being greeted at the door. How do you look right now?
She's wearing kind of a several layers of fairly worn practical robes. Kind of a dark grayish brown, not out of any particular spiritual need, but just because she lives in a hut in the woods, and that's the color that that cloth takes on after a while. She has several kind of fetishes around her neck, um, chicken vertebrae on string and things like that. Local peasant superstitions, things like that. Um, her face is a little bit gaunt, and her hair is a little flyaway. She clearly doesn't spend a whole lot of time um, on her personal appearance, and it seems like she's just not used to interacting with people except in fairly transactional ways. People
Mm,
come to her to get some service, and they transact their business, and then they get out of there as soon as they can. She doesn't get invited to social outings and things like that.
that's cool. If she's clever and has alum, she could get a bright yellow. Otherwise, the dyes are all. Yeah, so I imagine since Kyle, since Torvig knows Brother Glenn, maybe he was already in the room, kind of just standing right behind. So as everybody walks in, you're there. Do you want to describe yourself?
Torvig is, of course, he's a dwarf, so he is short. He's about 4.5 feet tall, wide. His beard is meticulously braided. He's got it bound in these bronze rings, and his hair is very, very dark black hair, dark black beard. Um, his clothes are pretty typical. Um, pretty typical for dwarves. There's lots of like so you know how in like Islamic art there's no depiction of faces and it's all geometric patterns, right? I figured that's pretty typical to dwarves, especially like in clothing, like even if it's just the path of the weaving, it just displays, hard, even in curves, it's hard edge geometric patterns. But his eyes glow when he's standing in any sort of shadow. And so he, if possible, he stays near the fire so that they'll, you know, do that. Um, and of course, he has a giant flagon of mead because he knows where Glenn keeps it.
Awesome. And coming, and I think for Lucarn and Kellen, I want a little moment between the two of you to just kind of role play out you walking up, past the gates from Hochoch, going to this weird, awkward, awkward meeting with kind of like a father that neither of you ever knew. I would say like Lucarn spent his entire life in a different country as a fosterling for another lord, and is coming home. And Kellen was a bastard and was not treated very well, right? So, in this relationship, Lucarn is the older. He's 26 years old, and Kellen is 24. So let's get a little bit of insight into your relationship and how you feel about this thing that's coming up. If you're fine with that, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's like, to me, good drama. So I was really excited to see it.
Go ahead, Chase. You go first. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what Keelan is saying. I imagine like maybe as we're kind of arriving to this place, everyone else is kind of going inside, and I think Keelan is kind of, he's looking out behind us where we came from and looking around, like his eyes are kind of shifting here and there, on the lookout always. And maybe he just kind of says to you, like, I'm not really sure what to expect. Do you think this really will be our father's ghost?
I don't think so. I have not heard of such things as ghosts. I don't believe in such things. So I guess, I mean, he's a night. It's not in. He's just it's too soon, right? Because again, I think he's if it's days since his father died, like I think he's more in the grief of it and what it means, and then a bit, yeah, I guess a bit, Sanch said, a bit annoyed that it's not him that's taking the family thing, and so he's skeptical, very skeptical of and it's a witch at the edge of the village, right? Like
batshit crazy witch.
Batshit crazy witch, right? So I think it's just more
Skeptical.
He's skeptical, but he's also desperate for something to be real, right? If there's the axe and there's any chance that they can get redemption, he's going to follow it, but definitely skeptical to start.
Is there a measure of jealousy that the initial inquiry went to Kellen instead of you?
That and the jealousy that he got to stay behind and had more time with the family, right?
Yeah.
Being a squire and doing all that stuff is like, you know what I mean? Like that was a harder path, right?
Yeah, and what you there's something you said that reminded me to that I was thinking of, is that Lord Fenvalor is like a noted hero of the valley, and news of any death or passing of his is kind of is weird. Nobody's talked about it in Hochoch yet. Okay, it's not known.
So
but obviously ghosts don't travel by regular roads and whatever, but that is noteworthy because it does make sense that you guys are a little skeptical. All right, so everybody, with one last glance outside, Kellen the paranoid just gives a quick glance over. Do you want a perception test to just make sure no one's following?
All right. Yeah. So just roll straight perception.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of flavor, like, but
okay, yeah.
It's just curious. I want to see what you get.
You see it, Sanj, just in the window.
No, I didn't. It's that thing I was telling you about. I have only the roll what you guys tell me what you. Okay, there you rolled.
It's like I got one success.
How many looks like you got, whoa, wait a second, one success. Okay. You're pretty sure that there's nobody, that you don't see anything. It's all safe, like no one followed you.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess
so everybody ushers in and gets greeted by Brother Glenn, and they're standing kind of trying to be unobtrusive or inconspicuous a little bit, is the crazy witch. who definitely looks like someone from the past. Her style of dress and the fetishes that she wears upon her are definitely part of like that ancient custom, the druidic custom, or the that of the old faith, people of that era when the Flan people were nomads, really. Compared to the rest of you who are quite like modern and of the age, she is of a different ilk. So
She gets hot tea all the same,
yeah,
as just everybody.
right.
Well, let's do it. Let's let this hex lady do the abomination.
Ira doesn't seem to take any real offense at the rather insulting things that the dwarf says to her. She looks around the room, doesn't really make eye contact with anybody. She seems to be looking at everything but the living. And then she gravely nods her head and says, "Good evening. As the dwarf says, we should get started. The dead will not linger long." And she pulls a small knife from her belt and kneels down and begins inscribing a circle just festooned with uh, different um, with arcane symbols. And she looks up at the others and says, "You will want to stay within this circle during the summoning. I cannot guarantee what the spirit will do when we summon him." And she is
Cool.
going to try and make a fortress circle. So with summoning, there are three types of circles.
Mm-hmm.
Summoner's circle, Summoner's Key, which basically adds advantage dice to the summoning test. Prison circle, which keeps a spirit bound. And then a fortress circle, which makes it harder for spirits to affect people within them.
So the obstacle to draw a fortress circle is 1 plus the obstacle penalty the summoner wishes to apply to otherworldly interlopers. Fortresses may be reused. It takes 2 hours per obstacle point to draw the fortress circle. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen
So
that.
maybe you did that. Maybe it's already
Yeah, maybe that's already
already
there.
Yeah. Yeah. A summoner may draw a circle to protect himself from harm inflicted by spirits. Any hostile act from a spirit made against those within suffers an obstacle penalty equal to the rating. If any portion. So you guys are going to be in the fortress circle? If
Yes,
any portion, part, or article of the protected passes outside the bounds of the circle, spirit. Okay, so you're protecting yourself in the circle. So
Yes.
like you're inviting them to step into the circle.
Yep.
Okay.
If you have unlimited time and are confident of your circulation, the best thing to do is to draw all three circles.
Oh, neat.
But yes, but I thought it was cooler to kind of give them that warning to stay in the circle rather than, drawing a prison circle or something like that.
Yeah.
What happens if
hell.
we stay outside the circle? I say.
The spirits that are summoned can affect you.
Like if the summoning goes awry, the spirit could get angry and lash out at you guys.
Yep.
James, you want help? Since Torvig has been there watching you.
Sure. I mean,
I have symbology.
That would certainly be appropriate. Sanj, how do you want to play this? Do you want me to make a test for having made the fortress circle in the past, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Because that's gonna flavor. And we don't know the answer, so let's see that. So,
Absolutely.
what kind of obstacle penalty do you want to impose on the ghost?
I'm thinking probably just ob1. In truth, I'm not particularly worried that this spirit is going to be angry,
Mhm.
considering he asked me to set this up essentially.
Yes, exactly.
But I do want to impress upon everyone else how seriously they should be taking this.
Nice.
This is
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so an ob2 cercination test.
So let's see. I have my skills. I only have a B2 in circination. So
It's a difficult test.
yes.
But I'm helping.
Yes. So
Oh,
that gives me 3 dice against ob2.
I have symbology too as well.
nice.
And it's my dining room floor.
And you would have been here with me since you were my escort.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 4D against ob2.
Okay, so that makes it a routine.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't played I haven't played as a player very much at all. So if I'm helping, I base my skill against the obstacle and for purposes of
Ob2.
recording a test.
Yes.
Ob2.
So
Yeah.
You will get
so
an
for
ob2 test
me,
out of this.
yeah, I've symbology at B2, and Steven will be the same way. This is a difficult test for me.
Yeah, both of you record. Helpers will record a difficult test if
Cool. Gotcha.
great.
Wheat.
Okay.
Chase, you got that? So when you help, this is really great for getting tests. When you help, you can advance. You mark a test for that skill, and you mark it based on what your skill is versus the obstacle, and the difference between those. Not the difference, but that ratio of numbers will tell you if you got a routine, difficult, or challenging test. Okay.
Yeah, helping is a great way to advance, because you generally get tougher tests that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm adding a whole bunch of dice to my pool, which means it's going to be an easier test for me. That's why I will only get a routine out of this. But they're going to get harder tests out of it.
The interesting thing here, just as a note, is that since you three are doing the cercination, it's almost like means that the negative you will pay in the failure of this test, you know. So let's see what happens when
Yeah, and actually, because I'm making this test, if it goes badly, that could mean that things go worse than if I hadn't made the circle at all. Because there will be consequences if I fail the test. So,
cool. Okay.
Oh, by the way, did you want us to start off with any artha?
Yes, good call. 2 fate points and 1 persona point.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to use any on this test, but
Sanj, do you as a GM tell the consequences prior to the roll?
No, not always, but I will. In this case, if a failure would mean that the prison circle is not protected, and when the ghost appears, he's going to be so overjoyed to see his long lost sons. He's going to like basically run through the rest of you. Like the ghost's spirit will just like float right through Aira, Torvig, and Glyn, and just hover right in front of his sons. And you guys are going to have cold damage. Okay. Like it fucking hurts, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And forgot. Okay.
Never
Okay,
good when the
no,
GM gets
just do
excited
it,
like
do it,
that.
do it, do it. Okay, so you made the circle,
Okay, let me see.
but that also depends on the outcome of the summoning, because
Yeah.
there's going to be two options. I've already worked it out. What kind of ghost you're going to get when you have a summoning. Okay.
All right. My first time working with this sheet, but I think I've got it to help. No, I'm not going to use any artha. Base obstacle 2. Submit.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
That
8
can't be
successes.
right.
Whoa. You rolled
No,
so
that
many
can't be right.
sixes.
That-
5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5.
Oh,
Oh my
damn.
God, it is right.
I did that correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It just exploded
And
and
ended.
exploded. Insane.
So he rolled, yeah. So he rolled
Yeah.
5, 5, 6, 6, and then his
Yeah.
six
That
rolled a
kid-
5, and then a 6, and then a 6,
6.
and a 5.
And it's, yeah. Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, this would be a good time to talk about the rules for working decreasing time with all the extra dice.
Yes. Yes,
What's that
working
called?
quickly, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that as she's going and you guys are giving advice, you guys can see together the three of you actually make an amazing a group, like a trio, a group of like a companions, like, we should go adventuring together. God, that you're totally right. I should place the symbol of the upside down hex right here. Yeah, so it's like really going smooth. And I imagine a lot of cross-cultural things happening with dwarven runes and occult symbology for summoning, even though it's not the same magic, but they are symbols and words of power, right? And the summoning circle is complete and everybody is invited to step within it. And now comes the juicy summoning of the ghost.
Yes. Summoning works a little bit differently because I have some
Traits.
I have a
relations.
0D affiliation with Restless Dead, which I assume he's Restless Dead.
Yeah.
I assume he wasn't buried, in consecrated land with a religious service and stuff. So that doesn't add anything, but I do have a 2D Speaker for the Dead reputation, which adds 2D to my summoning test.
Okay.
It is Ob 3 to summon the Restless Dead.
And you get a bonus dice because he's kind of willing and wanted you to do this.
Okay. That makes sense.
So,
And again, given that we're the sons, can we help him?
no, you can't. Summoning is a magical skill and you have no ken in that. You're way out of your depth in this situation. You're just standing there waiting.
So mundane.
Me have sword, me need to bash.
Some scones are being handed out.
Okay.
But-
So what's your dice pool?
Right now it's it looks like 8 because I have a summoning of B5 and 2D reputation, and then the 1D from him being eager to manifest.
Wow. Okay. So
Yes. So I'm not
8
going to
dice.
bother with things like forks, but I don't think I can fork. I think I can only do link tests with summoning.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
So B5, B 8 dice against Ob 3. Routine.
Yeah, which means that this is going to go very badly for me. I think I used up all the 6s.
Oh, what?
I forgot to put the obstacle in, but it's ob 3.
But the roll is a miss.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
do you want to spend any fate to re-roll a traitor?
Yeah, you have a
Um,
6.
Well,
You got a 6.
before I do that, I am going. Oh wait, how do call-ons work with open-ended skills? You only re-roll 1.
Call-ons for open-ended skills are you re-roll 1 failed dice. Yes.
That's a shame.
What? Really?
I think so. How does call-ons work?
Call-ons
Call-on-
normally you re-roll all the failures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same for
Yeah. I don't think it's
open-ended?
that. I don't think it's any different. I've never heard of that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I actually don't remember.
Oh.
There's something similar to that, but
With fate, if you spend fate on an open-ended test, you
you're right.
re-roll
That's what I'm
one.
thinking of. Okay.
You're right.
Re-roll
You're
one
right.
I was like,
traitor.
I was just thinking that I'd pretty much wasted that call-on putting it on a skill that would only ever
No.
re-roll one of them.
Okay.
No, call on
so-
re-rolls everything. That's why I was saying, do you want to spend a fate?
So just for everyone else who might not catch this, Era has the trait driven, and it is tagged to the skill summoning. So once per session, she gets to re-roll the whole test because God, she wants to summon properly.
Yeah. Re-roll any of the dice that were not successes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll basically re-roll 6 of these
Wow.
dice.
Okay, let's see that. That's incredible. Oh!
Wow.
All failures.
Do you
2,
want-
1, 1, 1, 1.
Now I
3.
think I like the idea of using that fate.
Now you're spending a fate point.
1 fate to re-roll one of them because I only need 1 die to
Yeah.
become successful.
All right, Sandra, are we seeing this? Like, were we seeing like
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is like
It's going
absolutely. She's
awry.
struggling.
Yeah, it's going awry, and she is like, she stubbornly stamps her foot and pulls out some freaking desiccated frog legs from her pouch and crumples it up and tries again. And then and she's like, oh, this is not working. Oh, this is
Yanks
so
one of the
funny.
talismans off her neck and she's shaking it, and chanting and calling to him. You can see
So-
sweat starting to form on her brow.
So here's my question: is nothing simply happening, or is it going supernaturally wrong, like in the horror movie when the seance goes wrong and there's like, the inexplicable shaking and lights outside the cottage and
Candles are flickering.
I think it's definitely like cold, like a noticeable drop in temperature. The lights, the candle is flickering on and off. Kind of a mist curls underneath the door, into like from the front door underneath the mantle or whatever. Yes, but not like full on Portuguese because he's still got a roll. So
right.
yeah.
But yeah, this is clearly, you can tell from her actions and her face that this is not going the way she expected it to. And just off topic a little bit, this is one of the things I do like about Burning Wheel, is that rarely do you have a roll that just fails and nothing happens. You fail forward and something happens to move the story forward.
Cool.
There was a lot of stuff I could have done to make this an easier roll, and I got arrogant and didn't do it. So
The 8 dice, dude.
Yeah, you're feeling good after those 8 successes.
yes, well, there's a summoning circle I could have used. I could have used some link tests to generate more dice, all sorts of stuff. But
All right, roll that 1d6, dude.
50%.
nice.
There is a god of dice, and it's laughing at you.
Give me 2 seconds. I gotta pee and just check a note. Okay. 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 Just
Oh,
I'm really glad the fortress circle worked.
just think, with 8 successes, I could have made that so much stronger than I did.
I mean, 8 versus Ob 3, like that's pretty. And you have a call
That should have been
on.
pretty routine.
Yeah, I mean, like that's just that's not. There's no error on your part, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Could I have been a little less arrogant about it? Yes, but yeah, by all rights and purposes, I could have rolled 20 dice and I think I would have failed it on this one.
yeah.
But it's like you said, the difference between a cutscene and this game is very different, right?
Yep. Yep. And some of my favorite scenes in Burning Wheel have come from completely failing tests.
Oh, for sure.
So Kyle, you've mostly been a GM then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think I've played Burning Wheel. Well, aside from Burning Con, at Burning Con, which doesn't really count, right? Like it's a convention.
Yeah.
I think I've played in one campaign that was very short lived. That James
Yeah.
and Stephen were not a part of.
Okay.
You also played in
No,
the Four
because
Brothers campaign, which was not
oh
super long.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I guess I've played 3. Because there was the Sorcerer Kings, but
Yeah,
that was short.
that was very short.
Those characters were not going to advance because
No.
those were like super powerful characters. And then yeah, Four Brothers, which was 4 sessions, maybe
Something like
3 or
that.
4,
Yeah.
maybe more. I don't know. That was a couple years ago. So, but it wasn't like some of our longer campaigns that last like
Yeah.
a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle's our forever GM. So
That same
Yeah,
as that. Yes, I played with Sanch mostly as
Yeah.
GM.
mhm.
yeah.
This is nice.
I'm actually I'm not a good player. Like I freeze up when I play, you know. Okay. Um the room suddenly goes like icy cold. All the candles sort of like dim, and the hair on the back of your necks like just stand on end. Your arms are like totally energized and materializing in a kind of flickery light. Initially, the image sort of flickers between two blue or silvery blue entities, or personages that are clearly your father, both of yours fathers. There's like for a split second there's an image of uh, an individual that is crouched and starved, blood spattered, like very gaunt, long, lanky hair, beard, all disheveled, and then it sort of flickers off, and it materializes up again as a noble with graying white hair here at the temples and long black hair with a beautiful beard, and then it flickers back to the gaunt, and then finally like coalesces into the image of the whole man. Okay, like however, like in a ghostly see-through apparition, bluish light, and it steps forth, and all of you roll a steel test. Everybody roll steel.
Do we
You
add
know,
anything for being in the presence of the supernatural
being in
to
the presence of spirits and ghosts is like a shocking occurrence for most people, including adventurers. So you have to roll your steel versus your hesitation, and that will determine. And then you have 3 kind of like actions or 3 things that you could do: run screaming, stand drooling, or swoon, fall, like just faint.
So is there a conditional ob?
No. The obstacle is basically what you roll you have your hesitation, which is
Mhm.
10 minus your will. It's on your character sheet somewhere.
Yep.
And here, do you guys want me to kind of show you where all this stuff is, or share screen, or?
It's on the stats and skills tab.
Yeah.
You said, Sanj, it's your
Roll,
will.
just roll steel.
It shows the hesitation ob like later. For fearless, does this count? For
I think so.
what it says. Immune to fear, reduce hesitation for pain, fear, and the shock of gore. I guess this is fear. Says hesitation for wonderment or surprise is not reduced.
Yeah, this is fear. This is fear.
Okay, cool.
And 1,000-yard stare also might have funny, the two brothers are like fucking stone cold.
Let's go.
So, Steven, on your stats and skills page, for whatever reason, these character sheets, the default hesitation is 1, regardless of what your will is.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
that
you'll
note.
need to set that manually on the sheet.
Yeah.
So
So kill
then
the
what should it be then?
10 minus whatever your will is.
Okay, got it.
All right, so Torvig, 4. So you're hesitating for 2 heartbeats. Kellen is like Kellen, what is your hesitation?
So my hesitation is 5, but fearless reduces it by 3.
Oh, great. So you're like you got your wits about you.
Yeah.
James is hesitating for 3 heartbeats. And
And the hesitation ob is what, Sanj?
10 minus your will. So your will is 4, so 6.
Got it.
Oh, right.
wow.
Nice. Boom.
Nice.
Well,
Okay.
our 2 knights.
Yeah, and our 2 brothers, right?
Yeah.
Our 2 brothers,
Yeah.
our warrior types are like stand firm as their father's face just materializes, and he smiles, and he's like, "What has fortunes brought me? The 2 of my bloodline here. Oh, glory, glory. The axe will be ours. The axe will be ours. Step forth. It has been too long. Let me see you up close." And he's saying that to Lucarn. Says, "I have not seen you since you were a wee lad. My, you have grown strong."
Father, how do I know it is not you? How do I know it is you? Say something of our clan. Say something of our family.
You were always fond of hurling. Do you still play with the stick and the ball?
I do, Father. Why have you called us here?
I have called you because I have found it. I have found it. The long axe of Lu, which the dwarves call the Axe of Dwarvish Lords. This heirloom axe, which is made for giant slaying, it will win us the war, and it will garner our family name Valor. I had thought that you had died, Lucarn, and that is why I had summoned Kellen. Kellen, oh, I have done you wrong. Look at you now. I cannot believe that the 2 of you are here together. Okay, you guys, what do you know about your father? He was kind of famous warrior poet who was part of an adventuring company that pretty much traveled the whole of the Flannis, slaying dragons, doing all sorts of heavy duty. And his treasure hoard is what he came back with and built this thing. He's he's charming. He's got a beautiful sonorous voice when he was alive. He was good with the ladies, Kellen. And is like a bit of a cad, a bit of a, he wasn't the upstanding noble knight. He was the Han Solo, right? And he's 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 he is so overjoyed to see you, and so he says, you must be wondering, now the image is like, it's a failed summoning, right? So then now the image is like wavering. You must be wondering, where is it? I had found the location too. My party and I had gone to retrieve it, and then we were ambushed, struck down by arrows in the dark. There's a shaft, a mine shaft to an old dwarven hold. There it was. It is located in the barrier peaks. If you go to, Maris, my love, my Maris, she is in danger. She's in danger. You must go there. It drops.
I said, witch, bring it back.
I think Keelan probably says something similar. Like, where did he go?
She's just staring at the space where the ghost had been. Just open mouthed. She's terrified.
Where's he gone?
I think Keelan like strides out of the protective circle and goes over to where the ghost was and is like kicking the floor around me and like, where?
It's the ghost. I do not think it works like that. Did not go to the floor to hide the hole.
I tapped the witch. Witch, where is he?
He has returned to the spirit realm. This is no cheap stage magic. He is not dropped through a trap door or hidden behind some scenery.
What else did he tell you when he spoke to you?
He told me that he had found an artifact and to find you and bring him to you. You know all of this that I do.
So he said, so just because of voice and everything I was acting, it might have been missed. So he calls it the Long Axe of Lu, Lugh, which is like a folklore hero of the Flanish past. And he says that the dwarves call it the Axe of Dwarvish Lords. It is a giant slayer. Now, yeah, I'm gonna do the right thing as a GM and like highlight it was a failed summoning, right? And he's given you this information, and he's under no compulsion or bounds to be truthful in what he's telling you, right? And I think there was obviously something that he was leaving out, and then eventually the whole conversation got sidetracked by him remembering that his actual wife is in danger. That Castle Fenvalor may be in jeopardy somehow. It's still within this side, the safe zone of the conflict, the war, but he's concerned about its viability or whatever.
But he did say Maris. Is that a known thing to us?
Yeah, Lady Maris is your wife, is your mom. That's the name that.
Oh, okay. So he said, okay, because he
Yeah.
said, but he didn't. He said
Right
he
after
said
his
there was
legitimate wife.
okay, but he didn't say a location of the shaft. Like I didn't miss that part.
He said Barrier Peaks.
He said the Barrier
Yeah.
Peaks, which is a mountain range. I think I want to just double check where it is.
It's kind of like, isn't it northwest of the Valley of the Mage, or?
It's north of the Valley of the Mage is bordered by the Barrier Peaks to its north. Yeah, northwest.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. That's exactly what I just remembered the name. That's where I wanted it, but like the name was sort of just kind of like it escaped my mind, and I just blurted it out and hoped that I didn't have to retcon it. I'm glad that I got it in the right spot. So that's that. So that he says that there's a mine shaft leading to where but he did say that he was ambushed, right? He did say that he was ambushed by arrows in the dark, and the axe is in somebody else's hands, I guess.
Now, Sanj, we haven't talked, like, you and I have not really talked about what a Dun Khazdrath would be, but is it can it be in the Barrier Peaks?
Yeah.
Well,
those are like the highest mountain range, in the Flanace.
Yeah. So Tormund will say, well, ghosts are all liars, father or no, but if he do speak true, he must be talking of Dun Khazdrath. We should go there at first light.
The ghosts do not lie.
You are a
left
funny
falsehood
woman.
behind in this world.
Yeah, you are jesting. I like your joke. Here, have some mead. It will put hair on your chest.
Not here. He said our mother was in trouble.
It's a ghost.
Your mother.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. I think Keelan is probably. It's like I'm more concerned for our father's land, and his people.
Like you, Kellen is, or Luker?
So where? So in your mind, Sanj, like just in terms of the mechanics, do you think that like the castle is that close to where we are, or is it in an opposite direction from the mountains? Like, what's your again, going back to the
it's not in the same direction. Like, you would have to get to the Barrier Peaks. You would kind of it's not like it would be it would be a detour, it would be a detour for sure. You would have to kind of here, let me share my screen. Share screen, and that one, share. Okay, and now I bring up this. Okay, so Hochoch is right here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And the Barrier Peaks are over here. And this map doesn't really show, but this forest, the dim forest, like basically like goes right to this entrance to the Valley of Mage. Okay. And the Barrier Peaks are beyond. So I would imagine you would kind of try and go through the Valley of the Mage or seek entrance into the Valley of the Mage. But it is like a very mysterious and kind of nobody goes there, that like there's xenophobic or whatever. So you might, and it's huge. Look how big the barrier peaks are. There's no way, like, where are you going to start? It's all of this, right? You don't know anything. So
Have to
maybe
narrow it
there's
down.
information at Castle Fenvalor, which is located right around here, you know, where that O is. So if we look at, if we go back to here, and there's this, the Anna Meyer map. Let me bring the, Anna Meyer Greyhawk map. Yeah, so I hope you guys don't mind all this. This is it's part of D&D, looking at maps, sussing out things, you know, being very careful about these truths.
Her maps are really cool.
Yeah. So I'd say that this is Hochoch right here, where the green and black shield is right here. And then there's a big forest here, and this is the dim forest in the north right here. This is the entrance to the Valley of the Mage. Okay, right here. And let's pick one of these. You guys tell me. Is it Girth Bryn? Count, you know, is that Fenvalor? Or is it yeah, I think let's make it Grith Bryn.
Girthrin?
Grith Bryn.
I don't know.
Yeah. But we'll call it Fenvalor. This is where the lands of Fenvalor are. And this here where it says Darich, that's, oh, it's down the Olve River. That's where your castle is. Got that?
And it, okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. And what's the like in terms of the days, you know,
How long does it
walking
take to?
versus horse?
Yeah, I'm not sure. How long does it take to get here? I'd say like a day's ride.
Okay.
In the wintertime, maybe longer. It's, you know, it's winter and the snows could be really bad. We'll roll for that.
And Sanj, can you just now that you're on the map, and also can you just put in your mind when the bad, like what is the current line of the combat in the map?
Yeah.
Do you zoom out a little bit?
Yeah, it's from here, from Gorna, right? And there is, actually it's Pregmere. So from Pregmere all the way across, so right here, Pregmere, and then down to this area right here, down to the edges of the Ointwood. So Pregmere and across. Got it? It's like this, boom, boom.
So it's not where we're going towards the.
No, you guys are going here.
We're going away from the front lines. Okay.
You're not going away. You're heading towards the front lines, but the front line is sort of down here.
Got it.
Okay. Tika to Pregmere is held. This Tika right here, you see? Tika, Pregmere, the Lee County Cymerovan.
Everything to the north and to the right of it is held by the enemy.
Everything to the south west is giant land, and all this is human.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I imagine there's like a line of forts, you know, and a nomad's land, right? You guys probably have a line of forts like all along this, you know, where this this is non-forested right here, this area, okay? And
Okay.
I think that there's like a line of forts going, from Fen Valor right to the forest.
Okay.
And there's like a no man's land around Pregmere, all this area. Cool. It's all like kind of fluid, right? We just want to make sure what works good for the story. So, what do you guys want to do? Or what are you guys doing? Like, so I think, just practically speaking, Dwarf says, let's leave tomorrow. And I think you need to first know where you're going, and like going right into the barrier peaks. Well, he says go to Dun
Kazdrath.
Kazdrath, which he knows the location of, or you do? You do?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. And but any expedition such as this is going to take time and money to prepare for, right? Because of going into the deep wilderness and whatnot.
Oh, speaking of that, I was thinking, so like, what kind of tribute makes sense that it would go along with the summoning? And the tribute should be the financing of our expedition,
Mm.
because that's what their father would want, right? Like that's the tribute he would want.
Yeah, I think I'm keeping that sort of. Yeah, that's good. And acquiring the axe is obviously, really we're kind of reversing the summoning rules. The rules, when you read them, it's all about the summoner asking a boon of the summoned, right?
Oh, true, yeah.
And in this case we're flipping it, where the ghost is asking a boon of the summoner. So it didn't make sense for me to say, well, okay, give me a goat's head, right? On
You owe
top
me
of,
money
yeah,
for doing me a favor.
I think it wants you to succeed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We
and I
could
guess
go
the
to
question is
Kazdrath.
if. So I say, if we go to the castle, maybe they knew there where his path was, and we can get supplies.
Why would we go to Dunkadrath? It is not a castle.
No,
Ruin.
Falvanor Castle. Maybe that's where the expedition left. It is on the way.
Mannish architecture is bad. I do not know why we would go to look at it.
There would be some sort of award to help us fund our expedition.
Trait vote.
Barrier peaks are quite a long while away.
Oh, it's very close. We are all good walkers. Dwarven stride is quite long.
And can we get the supplies where you go to get into these mountains? What would we need to get there?
Oh, hearty constitutions.
You make it sound so simple.
Well, you're a ranger, you're a strider, right?
Yeah.
Like you and the dwarf actually know the most about wilderness survival in these crazy environs. And obviously it's warm clothing, food, sleds, snowshoes, rope, climbing gear, all of it.
Yeah. Now, out of character, like it is almost certainly a smarter idea to go to Castle Finvalor first. But that is not what Torvik wants to do. He thinks we should just immediately go to the Barrier Peaks.
Well, let's role play that. I mean, you're trying to. You're pushing. He's pushing, like, well, why don't you explain to them where you're coming from? Because you're kind of just like spouting about Dun Khazrath, but what do you know?
Dun Khazrath is ancient dwarven place. And it is place to be finding the axe. It is where I would look first. And my uncle Vilik says it is in Geoff's ruin, but he is old and crazy. And Ghost says something, makes me think of Dune Khazrath. And we could get financing from, and he points to Glenn. The priest at his temple has money, and you are nobles. You have money. We'll pool our resources and buy warm clothes and food. I like pemmican.
I like pemmican.
It's simple. We do not have to go to Human Castle. Your mother is probably fine.
It's anything but fine. Even on the most peaceful of days. Sorry, Locarn.
How far is this place?
I assume Dune Khazrath is, like multiple weeks of travel away, right?
Yeah. 1d4 weeks of travel.
It's very close. Only a few weeks' journey. Over rough hills. There are some bogs, mountains, probably orcs, or hobgoblins.
I think and I think Lucarn is saying that let's go to Castle Fenvalor and protect rescue my mother if needed, and also get some like intel, because there must be journals and notes that Lord Elric had left behind about the
okay,
expedition.
So I have cartography as a skill.
Oh,
so then I just say, okay, I'm gonna try to reason with it and just say,
yeah, you can use that as a fork into a persuasion test.
yeah. So there's gonna but again, it's like I'm gonna first do the skill and just try to say, like, if he's telling me roughly where it is, can I just say it is, both make sense? But I don't know that. I want to make sure that if I roll, that
you whip out your map.
Yeah, I whip out my map, and I just put it on the table. I say, point on the map where this place is.
I will do that, or where I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, because Torvig has never been there, but it's detailed in the chronicle he has.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, I mean, he points it out, and you're sussing at it, you're looking at it, and you're convinced like it makes more sense to. It's still like a dangerous and kind of, you have like, yeah, it's a dangerous journey to actually go there, and well, it's up to you. Like, what do you want to do now?
So so I guess the question is, can I say if it is weeks away, what is a few days journey to the side to get supplies in a place where our money will go much further? Like, how far is the castle?
Yeah, castle's like 1 or 2 days journey, maybe more with the winter. If with a failed roll, there could be an encounter on the way. Nothing is safe, right? Like, this is
I just say, if we are to go to this place and you say it is weeks and we have limited resources, they will go much further in Fenvalor. And then we will leave. We will leave for your place.
I think Keelan backs his brother up, and kind of echoes what he's saying. That if we go to Fenvalor and rid them of whatever danger they may be in, we might be leaving. I expect us to be leaving better equipped than when we walked in, much more equipped for this journey to the barrier peaks.
I would not listen to the ghost. How could it know what is happening in Fenvalor?
But even then, our noble resources are not here. They're in Fenvalor if you wish funding for this venture, what is 1 day's or 2 days ride to get a better boon for our journey? How will we fund this?
We should definitely have a duel of wits.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think you should have a duel of wits. Yeah.
I'm gonna fork my cartography.
Chris, you know what? Cartography, I just read it, is the art of making maps.
Oh,
okay?
making maps. Okay.
And orienteering is
Okay.
the ability to navigate across land both with or without
Okay, I
maps.
took the wrong one then. I'll change it. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I'll
just
take-
this. It's the same exponent number.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'll just take it right there. Okay.
So, how does a duel of wits work? A duel of wits works with, first of all, you take it's going to be Chris versus Chase, okay, and
I Chase still cut.
no, Chris versus Kyle, some helping on either side, whoever. So Chris, you need your dueling skill would be either persuasion. I think in this case, persuasion. Do you have
Or
persuasion?
intimidation.
I have
Mm,
persuasion. as
I don't
well.
think
Persuasion is
intimidation is
not a-
Intimidation.
no.
I don't have persuasion, so maybe
Okay.
then Chase steps in.
No, you can. You don't have to have the skill. You can do beginner's luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, that's Kyle is saying that because he knows he's gonna crush you.
I don't. I don't have. I don't think I have any of them. Actually.
Well, you have
Uh,
Stentorius. No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
So we do this. Roll your will, okay, and half the number of successes. That would be your fill in for persuasion. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're determining now what's called the body of argument, Chase. This is the hit point value of each argument's side of this story, and then
Okay.
we're going to do 3 rounds of verbal sparring, dueling, and each action can be an attack, a defense, or a combination of both.
Mhm.
And that will whittle down the hit points. And when you get down to that after the 3, wherever we stand in the hit point tally, right, is the compromise that we kind of adjust and make, right? So it's a little finicky, but it can be very rewarding in terms of what insights it brings to the argument.
So I'm gonna do a beginner's luck course persuasion for my body of argument skill.
Okay. And you're gonna.
I don't have
open
any of them.
Are you going to open that skill? Skills being learned. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
So then, okay, so I add in, as you said, persuasion. Is that what it is, Tom?
Yeah. Under skills
being learned. You added in being learned.
Yeah, persuasion. Yeah. And the root is will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool. And Kyle is doing the same. So both of you roll.
So I got 4 successes.
Nice. And then I don't get it. Do I get help from Chase or no?
Not for the body of argument. It would be
Ah.
later. Okay.
So this can help once the argument actually
So-
starts.
So, guys, these successes are halved because you don't have the actual skill. So 4 is 2 and 2 is 1. So add that number to your will. What is your will, Kyle?
4.
4. So you have a body argument of 6. And Chris, what's your will?
4. So I have
A
5.
body of argument of 5. Okay. And now, each of you does a secret script. Kind of, you jot it down on note paper. Whether you're going to do a point. I mean, there's a whole slew of stuff. It's a bit, if we don't know the rules, but let's go through it. If you will indulge, I will just tell you what the dueling skill, what skills are, what you're allowed to do, and you're obviously allowed to fork into any of these, right? So the moves are point, which is like straight attack. So whatever successes you get, they just subtract off of the other person's body of argument, but you have no defense. The next one is avoid the topic. That is a straight defense. You don't whittle down the other person's body of argument, but you protect your body of argument. The rebuttal is yes, and like it's both. You take your dice pool of whatever skill you're using and split it in half and go either a little, some dice in defense and some dice in attack. And then there's a final one, which is called, there's more, but I think we'll stick with 4 for now and then just read the rules for later. There's one called dismiss, which is a resounding attack with a +2d tacked onto it. However, if you fail that, you're stunned for the next round. Okay, so there's 4 things. You basically got point, which is an attack, avoid, which is a defense, rebuttal, which is half and half, like part or like a split action, and then a dismiss, which is a strong defense. Is that cool? So kind of write those down somewhere.
So you write you said it's 4 or 3, Sanj?
3 volleys.
3 volleys, okay.
3 volleys, but four different actions you could choose from in those volleys.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm looking at the book.
And then all the helpers like Chase, you'll come in and add, you'll add to his point or add to, okay? So you write those kind of in secret on scratch paper, and then we'll go volley by volley and see this argument through. High drama, guys, high drama. Inter-party conflict.
I think I know who's going to be getting the majority of the helping dice.
Yes.
Okay. So we've written it both down. Is that it? Okay, I got mine. Yeah.
So volley 1. Chris, what do you have?
Point.
Nice. And Torvig.
Point.
Okay. So both of you guys choose your your skill. I guess it's going to be persuasion, and add your fork. No, skills being learned. There's no forks.
Can't fork into beginner's luck.
So just roll. Will like 4D, but you can't. But you can help. Chase can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Steven or James, either way.
Yeah, I'm interested in helping.
Great.
Ira has an opinion here.
So do we start? We just roll the dice, or we actually do the?
Well, no. You have to talk. You have to do the. Okay. You have to do the argument. Like let's role play.
Our influence and money will go much further in the castle Fenvalar to aid our journey.
Okay.
The Khan coming home will be like the prodigal son returning. They will be most pleased to see him. And coming in with allies as well to help rid them of their problems.
Well, I don't doubt this. You are both wise, but Castle Fenvalor is to the west. Our journey is to north, and we have little time. Giants have already overrun too much of Geoff, and I'm using rhetoric. Thought that was very well reasoned for a dwarf.
Nice. So you have
beginner's luck.
What are you doing? A point?
Still beginner's luck.
Okay, cool.
Is that a point, Kyle?
So
yeah, that was my point. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And is Aira stepping in? Has something to say?
Yeah, I was just looking to see if I could help with a skill I don't have as a beginner's luck test.
So I don't think you can help with the beginner's luck test, but I think you can help with a stat. It just counts as a stat.
Yeah, it's not a skill. Just take a stat. So it's basically a 1D to either to Chris's.
Yeah. So she says, I think there's much information that we could learn about their father's travels by visiting his home.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so Chris takes his will exponent of 4 and gets 2 bonus dice from Chase and James, from Ira and Kellen.
So that's in the help and advantages sense?
Yep, that's a help. Yep. So Chris, roll
I'm rolling now, yeah.
3 successes, which is only going to be 1 success. Okay, so this guy's body of argument drops down to 5 from 6. Okay,
That's
and
Kyle's.
hi, Torvik's, yeah,
Torvik, yes, right.
yeah, and now Torvik, your rhetoric.
And same difference.
1. So Lucarn's argument, both, but and it's funny, the kind of like the party, the audience member who's watching this and seeing which way we're going to tip the balance is brother Glenn, like he's just weighing the options, seeing what either side says, right? Okay, round 2, what do we have written?
Point.
Rebuttal.
Rebuttal, cool. And you?
Oh, I got a point.
Okay. So you give your point.
So the sooner we get the axe, the sooner you can all bathe in glory. We have little time. It is your land that is being overrun, and I'm opening persuasion.
Cool. So I thought you were going to do rhetoric for that. No, that was before, right?
Yeah, that was before, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So go.
And then rebuttal is on his point, right? That's the idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got to decide how you're going to divide your dice.
Yeah, no, I was, no, say, we seek information and there is a 50-50 chance that the information is in either place. The barrier peaks are years of searching. There is no more proof that there is information in your place than Venflor, which is only 2 days' journey.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Kyle actually doesn't believe Torvik.
No. No. This is a foolish argument. You should all dogpile.
All right. Anybody helping or aiding in this?
Yeah. Ira says, Torvig, to tell the truth, I don't think you have any idea where it might be in the mountains.
Nice. Okay.
And yeah, Keelan will say, and you know as well as I do that those mountains are vast. A couple of days over here to take a look at our father's notes and seek, speak to his confidants about where he was and what was coming and going about. We will be much more well equipped to narrow our search.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. Roll them dice.
It's will, right, Sanj? Right?
Yeah.
Now, how does this work?
Will plus 2, right?
Yeah.
How does he divide his dice like on Roll20? Is there like a mechanism to do
actually
that,
he'll just have to do // yeah. So you got 6 dice and you split them up into 2 sets. And I would recommend, because you're going to half them, do like 4 and 2 either way, because your successes are going to get halved anyways, because you don't have a skill.
And then what about since I haven't used my fate or my artha dice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to add 1 because I want this to win.
Okay.
My mother could be in danger, right?
Yeah. Amazing.
And the base obstacle is 0, right? Because we're not worrying about that.
Yeah. Oh no, 0. That's one of them. That's your defense, I guess.
So that was my rebuttal.
That was your attack. That was the attack. Oh no. So you didn't get it. When you do a rebuttal, you split your dice into 2 pools and you roll twice. You roll a defense pool and an attack pool.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay,
I'll let you re-roll and just take your 7 dice now and split them into 2 pools.
Okay, so okay.
And say you're going to roll your attack first. So are you going more heavy on the attack? And
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. Yeah. Well, no, my defense was heavier, I think, because it was on the. Okay, so
Well,
this.
it's however you want to divide it. But
whatever you
How do
want.
you divide the dice in roll 20?
Just do a forward/R D like 5d6 or 3d6, and it'll roll 3 6-sided dice. So in the chat there, just here, I'll do it for you. Watch.
Okay, so
I
it's
go
RD4. Right?
forward/R.
Yeah.
3d6. Oh wait.
Oh, I can do 3d6 in the window on the side.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
a little cooler.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just do that one. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll do 3d6. So that's my. This is the first one. It's 3d6.
Defense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 successes on defense, or
Wow, it's really good.
down to 1. That's one success on defense. Okay.
Okay, and then I'll do
Right.
4d6 for the attack.
Oh, so 3.
Okay.
So 3 again. So 1. Okay.
Okay.
So this your argument, your body of argument goes down to 4.
No,
I
it's
got
another
nothing.
2. It's. I thought it was because I'd done 1, which was 5, so it's the 3, right? The first attack I'd gotten 1 off. It was 6 to 5, and then I just did 2, so it's to 3. No.
Oh, wait. The first attack is
No. We did point rebuttal. In the point, I took 1 point off his argument.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This was 2
Yes.
this time, so it's 3.
No.
No.
Your successes are still halved, so it's still 3 successes here, 5, 4, and 4.
Yeah.
And then that's 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, which is 1. So you have 1 in defense. Okay, that's all.
Got it. Okay.
Now,
So okay.
now if he gets 1 success, that means nothing.
I didn't get any.
Oh,
any.
great.
So
now
we're
we're
rolling
4
all
against
beginner's
4.
luck. Because neither of us have any of these skills, so that's why everything is halved.
I understand. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's way more finicky when you don't have the skill, because you're
Yeah.
It
Well,
is.
this obviously is as it should. Okay. So then now we're into the third one. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I could have, to be honest, I could just say screw the halving, and just because you're both unskilled, it's the same thing, and it'll just go.
That's true.
faster. So let's
It's the
just
same
do
difference.
that. No halves now, because you're on the 3rd round. We'll count all successes as ones instead of 2
Got it.
successes.
Okay.
Okay, what's the last script?
Point.
All right. All right. So, any helpers again? I guess 2 on Chris's side.
Yeah.
No.
No?
I was
James,
not
no?
going to say anything.
Okay.
She said her piece.
Okay. So, Kellen steps up and says,
Well, does he need to go first or?
doesn't matter, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think Kellen he's kind of probably, he's like, come on, dwarf. We all know that this is the most sensible thing to do. So just come on board and we'll be able to go after this axe in earnest.
Nice. Chris, your little spiel.
Yeah. I think you know that this is our path, whether you want to come or not.
Cool. All right.
So I'm gonna be opening Sartorius debate because I say, but I'm a dwarf and I don't want to go to a human place where you have your stinky cows, but I do like beef. And I just want to go to the mountains and search for dwarven treasure. I don't like ghosts either. They're liars. Sartorius debate.
So weird. All right, go for it. Roll.
So I just get 1 advantage that time, right? Because
Yeah.
With what he said, now Ira's really wishing you had a rebuttal.
All right. So, okay. So 3 and 3. All right. So you're both down to 1 and 1. Okay. Which leaves you guys at both of you get neither of what you want. Or you guys both get like, how do we do this? This is
I just say, if this is a party, can we not just have a vote?
Did we both go to 0?
Okay, you want to do one last one? Okay.
Well, I mean, no. At
Yeah.
this point, you would re-script.
Yeah.
And keep going until somebody's body of argument is gone.
Okay.
Okay.
You pick a new action.
A new volley,
which
basically.
it's probably only
Reset,
going to go one more volley, but
Yeah, one more action. Yeah, just
from a mechanical standpoint, just to give you a little bit of benefit of experience, rebuttal is a very good one here, because it'll give you an extra die, and you only need one success.
And what if we both have rebuttal?
Damn.
You can both take each other out.
I always find the rule, how to figure out the compromise in a Dulowitz really tough.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing. All right, roll, guys. Did you roll, Chris?
I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we got a script, right? The next volley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
Avoid the topic.
Ooh, defense. Full defense. Nice. Roll.
Insight. I'm just gonna do that one.
Oh, insight. Oh no.
All right.
So Torvik crosses his arms. This is very good mead, Glenn. I quite like it. If everyone was drinking it, everyone would agree with me.
And I just say this.
Chris,
this
Chris. Intimidation uses the skill. I mean, insight uses the skill intimidation.
Yeah. Okay.
With it. Oh wow, cool. So you don't have to split your dice in half now.
Okay. I should have used it earlier. Okay. So I just like, I look at the room and I say, if we are truly a party, we must all decide to make a path and not let any one of us grow. So I call a vote for this.
That's not insightful. An insight is like you're with an acid tongue and biting wit, a character may attempt to distract or dismay his opponent. The speaking player, you're being reasonable. Insight is like
piss him off with an insight.
You got to piss him off. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Voting does piss me off.
Okay. Yeah. So I just say, we cannot let your dwarvish ways ruin this whole adventure. We must go to the town, and we must see my mother is okay.
I think Keelan, he kind of like comes around the table and comes over to your mead, and maybe Keelan takes a sniff and takes a swig at it, and he's like, "Oh, please, the mead we have in Finvalor is much better than this." I'm using, I guess, falsehood. I'm kind of lying. I'm trying to talk it up and be like, "Oh, and they love dwarves over there. They're going to greet you." A hero's welcome, of course. They'll shower you in so much mead, you won't know what to do with yourself.
Nice.
Well, he likes that, but
nice.
So I'll roll my will first. That way he knows what his insight obstacle is.
Yeah.
Or avoid the topic.
Yeah.
Well, I assume anybody else going to help either side?
Yeah, she's going to jump in with kind of a non sequitur here and say, maybe dwarven ghosts are liars, but human ghosts are not.
Dwarves don't have ghosts.
Okay.
So 2 success.
Okay. 1.
Well, it's avoid the topic, so it's just
oh yeah, and we're not
not splitting. You said.
Oh no, but we are now because you have a.
I have a skill. Okay.
But avoid the topic just tests will though.
Oh, okay. So it's 2 successes. It's actually
yeah.
Cool. Interesting. I did not know that. So,
so
2 successes, Chris. Yeah, you roll.
Okay, I roll the will, and then how many help do I get?
2.
2. Okay.
And you're rolling your intimidation.
You're
right?
rolling intimidation. Not
sorry. Okay. Sorry. B3. Okay, so this one.
What is your will, Kyle?
4.
So yeah, but my intimidation is 3 and my will is 4. When I want to roll
No,
my
no,
will.
just take 3 plus 2 dice, so 5 dice.
Okay,
You're not rolling your will plus intimidation. You're just rolling your intimidation
got it.
because you have
Okay,
it open.
got it.
Fuck. Yeah. It's a total wash again.
Brutal.
Brutal. All right.
Okay, so it's an opposed. Yeah, so it's an opposed test. So my avoid the topic reduces his insight successes. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So this argument is frustrating and goes on for the entire night, with like drinking and stuff, and despite all the fur, you can see like the bonds of the party coming together, right? And at the end of it, what you realize is that, pondering over the map and talking about Dun Khazad Drath, and kind of piecing together the words of the ghost, you're like, it's got to be the same thing. It's got to be the same place. But where is it? If he knew where the entrance was, like, let's do both, So you'll go to the castle, and then on a hunch or an assumption that it's the same place, then you will go to Dun Khazad. How does that sound, Kyle? Am I gimping you there?
No, I was. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping I would lose.
I know.
So, yeah, he's perfectly. So, well, if you want to say that, that they win, which I think they would,
But it's
yeah,
with
I
a
mean,
compromise. So I think what
yeah,
it
his
is,
like the compromise doesn't have to be like. I mean, my character would be due a solid compromise, a major compromise, because we were both down to 1 at the end.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, yeah, going to Finvalor first. So I, like, as a player, I don't even know what Din Khazad is. We don't necessarily have to go there, but so the compromise would be like, once we get to Finvalor, so how about this? Once we get to Finvalor, and this would just be for Torvig's sake, like, if we don't find any evidence elsewhere, then we go to Dun Khazad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But thinking that this is, you kind of grudgingly accept this because you think, hey, maybe it is the same place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
all the legends say blah blah blah.
Well, and also if we like find his journal or something that says, no, we actually went to here, like, I don't want to have to like, I'm not gonna hold to a compromise that says Dun Khazad next when we have a clear like arrow, right?
Yeah.
So
By the way, I just want to say, Kellen, I'm getting really great role playing vibes off of your character. You're doing a great job of just like depicting your smooth talking dude.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. All right.
I have a question. Do I get any like tests to advance anything from that?
Yeah. You've whatever skills you used because you helped, just mark a routine test for all of them. Like you did falsehood, and you did persuasion, I think.
Was I able to use persuasion since he was using his will because he didn't have
sorry.
it?
Yeah,
I do
well,
have persuasion, but if
you know what? So stat tests don't count. So whenever you were the only help, actually, you're right. The only help that you were that would count for
was the
a real
falsehood.
is the falsehood.
Okay.
Because for a stat test to count, it has to be difficult or challenging, and none of these are, because they're just 0 ob, right?
Cool. I see.
Well, the last one was opposed. So what's your falsehood exponent?
My falsehood exponent is 3.
Yeah, so I had 2 successes, so that'd be at least difficult. 3-2.
Oh yeah, it's on the chart. So 3 dice. Yeah, it might not be a routine. So 3D versus Ob2 is a routine.
Oh, it is routine.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
You guys see the chart there on the
Yeah, I do see it here.
yeah.
Yes, cool.
You gotta move it over, but no way. Okay. Very, very cool and dramatic and kind of boring too, like for the audience who's watching this.
Sorry.
It's so nitpicky, but it's cool. It also gives like a nice nuance, like like it makes I find it made the whole argument make like it felt real, right? Like there was actions.
But also it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that dwarf, like the dwarf just being like, why do I care? Like, I like that a lot, right? Like that's what you'd expect out of a dwarf, right?
Yeah,
To be like
yeah.
obstinate,
This is a jerk. That's the trait. All
I
right.
I do have like a very vivid image in my mind of like this whole evening where we've shown up to this thing we've been arguing all night about what we're gonna do. I think it's pretty cool.
Did you guys get your steel tests in there?
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
So steel
I don't record
versus
mine, did I?
so let me tell you what your steel test what kind of test is depending on this so steel. There we go. Circles, steel. No, do it. So just short little.
Countering the living
Steel.
dead.
Yeah. Obstacle, weird, low grade, supernatural. Witnessing, being in the presence of a character, witnessing violence, heated sports, witnessing real bloodshed and gore, being badly beaten up, burying a child, fighting a duel, participating in a nightly tourney, being stabbed, shooting another, witnessing a friend or relative killed. Where is the ghost?
Obstacle 5 says witnessing or being a party to spirit activity.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. So that's a great that I don't know what your skill your the ob 5. So you earn whatever your steel is. Chris, what's your steel? 4. So that's a
It'd be
difficult
challenging.
or difficult. Let's see.
If the ob is higher than his exponent, that's going to be an ob 5. It's
Yep.
going to be challenging.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's challenging. Yeah.
Cool.
So
So if I'm reading this right, I have 5 steel, and so that would be a difficult test, right? Because the op was 5.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice. Kyle?
Yeah, it's a difficult test for me.
And I wonder if your steel's super high, Ira, for
I mean, it's still ob. I have a steel B6, so it's still difficult for me.
okay, cool. And
Yep.
Steven?
I have a B6 as well, so it's a difficult for me.
Nice. Cool. That's good. So you
This is when you learn, like, people that have played this a long time, where they put their stats, and you're like, oh, how come you guys have this like steel high, right? That's
Yeah. Yeah.
It's super important.
yeah. It seems like it.
Oh well, yeah. I think Chris, in one of our games last time, you got something happened and you got hit with the steel test, and everybody was standing drool, and then the bad guys just like waded in, and I can't remember the scenario, but
It was coming with the bats underneath the city.
right.
Yeah, we got wasted.
Yeah. Shall we take a little break, or it's 9:44? Just a little pee break, or shall we continue?
Oh, we can take a break if you
Let's take a quick break and come back.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just want to
absolutely.
drink some water and walk
good.
around a little bit, and I'll be back in 3 minutes.
Sounds good.
Good.
Cool. Everybody having a good time so far?
Yes.
Having a great time. I've missed Burning Wheel.
Cool. Yeah, it's really good.
So the campaign that James, Kyle, and myself was in before this one started up, and it kind of fell apart at the same time this one was standing up, was using Mutant Crawl Classic.
Mm.
And one of the things that I didn't like about that was that it was a lot of, I don't want to say railroading, but there wasn't a lot of, who are your characters? And I think we've seen more out of who the characters are now, especially Kyle's character, than I think we got character development in the whole several months that the other game was going.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this scene brought out a lot of character, a lot of like personality, and definitely, Kyle, Chris, and Chase did a lot there, right? Like, very interesting. Yeah, I picture like we'll do a little bit of I want to kind of get on the road before we close off for the night, and then we have to go through our artha. So that yeah. So
And for the other characters, like Steven and others, like, what's the usual strategy for your battle of wits? Like, he went point, and I was like, oh, is there a typical strategy where people like what you pick?
it really depends on what your skill set is. And I usually have a character that is much more socially oriented, and you kind of choose, if you're going down that road, you kind of try to think of who or how you want the argument to be. You definitely have flexibility when you're making the argument, how you want to be. One thing that I did when I was playing around with ChatGPT is I asked it to stat up Hillary Clinton, Obama, and then Trump, and how they would do dual wits. And let me see if I can find that for you real quickly.
It was
What a
wild.
thought experiment.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Obfuscate, man. Like, Donald Trump is like G fucking 8 obfuscate. Just
Yeah.
If I
He
recall,
scripts that every time.
yeah, roll nothing but falsehood.
falsehood.
I was just asking what was the typical strategy for the duel of wits, and why you went point as a strategy.
You kind of role play though. You get into your character's head and picture how they would think. So I think Kyle's probably thinking a dwarf is quite obstinate and has views
and just straight to it.
Straight, yeah.
Yeah.
Attack.
Elf or a courtier would be like feint, and would rarely use something like insight, which is a warrior's kind of move.
Yeah.
You use that if you're sure you're gonna, destroy your rival with it.
Right.
So for my that's why for my second volley I scripted avoid the topic because he was getting annoyed, and then incite, and then dismiss.
Yeah,
because you weren't recognizing his obviously genius logical arguments.
Okay, guys, let's roll. Let's get into the game now. So I can't imagine that you guys ended up bonding this night here, and Glenn's wife is amiable and she keeps the meat flowing, and food is brought, and you guys basically realize that it's like that the sun is rising, and you barely slept. Okay. And part of it is the drinking is to kind of calm your nerves from this the ghostly encounter, which was
Yeah.
quite
It's pretty
harrowing.
spooky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Not your average day occurrence.
Yeah. So in the morning, you guys have to, what I want to do is give you guys each a little scene to close up any personal business in Hochoch, and then call it a night. Like you probably have your own backstory stuff and little like expose about your character that we all want to see, kind of like when they all go off and they do their thing, like in the TV show version of this.
Well, especially the people that have the lands, like how are the people that have stuff there that
Yeah, relationships or whatever. So who's who would be interested in starting something there?
I can lead us off.
Cool.
So I imagine, we make it back into Hochoch, and I have this little cottage. So I picture Keelan, kind of packing up, and he's got his horse as well. So he's loading his mare up and stuff. And I imagine, like, maybe some kid in like rough spun clothing kind of comes over, and it's like, yeah, Keelan, where are you going? And I think Keelan just kind of like affectionately brushes them on the head, mops their head, and it's like, I'm going away for a few days, just you're gonna keep after, you'll look after the cottage for me, won't you? And they're like, oh, of course, and they're super enthusiastic, and I think maybe Keelan throws them like a little coin or something, before he kind of goes to rendezvous with his allies, his newfound party members.
That's really nice. That's nice. Okay, I like that, and I like that you're not like using a skill or anything, but you're kind of just like building up your relation. I'm a good guy, and I have, I have relationships with people in the city. I love it. All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to do before they go on this long expedition? Does Brother Glynn want to explain to his wife that he's going on a dangerous mission?
I think that she's been paying attention for most of the evening, and she kind of understands what's going on.
Totally,
and,
yeah.
He kind of summarizes it as like, this may be a chance to end the war, so I can go back to being a priest instead of having to do this. And
But she says, but you must speak with Father Greg, Father Gwilyn, Father, that's too close to your name, Father Asher. He would be at a loss without you. At least get his blessing.
okay.
Right?
I was planning on visiting.
I'm just kind of reminding you of your belief, right?
Yes.
You're the one about speaking to him and making sure that he's on board with what you're doing. Did you?
Yes.
Did you want to do that? Yeah.
That's what I was planning on doing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It seems like where we're going to the castle that we don't need the funding, but can certainly still get his blessing.
Awesome. So
we need the funding for sure. We need the money. Always need money.
Yeah.
To feed your addiction to cow meat.
No, because you wrote it as a belief. So
it's morning, like it's dawn, and Father Asher is leading a small congregation at the chapel of Pelor inside Hochoch. There are, the faithful all around, and and there are across the way, like on the other side of the street, looking on, there are some knights of the watch that are smiling and greeting everybody and shaking hands, and you kind of groan because they're trying to poach young recruits. They keep going after the 20-year-olds, the 18-year-olds, and Father Asher is at the door, and he's trying to ignore them, and he catches your eye, and he says, "Oh, come, brother Gwilyn, brother Glenn. Is it Glenn? I forget, brother
Glenn, yeah.
Glenn, brother Glenn. It's good to see you this morning. May the morning Lord shine upon you."
And may the light of Pelor shine upon you, Father.
I see your brow is furrowed, and you've had a sleepless night. What bothers you?
Some news has come to me that compels me to leave the town and the temple, potentially for an extended period of time. We believe that, and I'm assuming that this would have been talked about last night, that we can share what we're doing and we're not having to keep it a secret, right?
I don't remember you talking about that. You take whatever, of course, yeah. If you, I mean, you trust him, right? And
yeah.
You don't want to tell everybody, but yeah, you trust him.
We believe that we know where where a relic of the dwarfs is located, and that we can retrieve it, and that will set the giants back significantly. So I'm going to be going to help with that expedition. Is there any way in Pelor's Light that you can help fund this expedition? We are going to be going deep into the shield peaks, or barrier peaks rather.
Yeah. Brother Glenn, as well as I do that in times like this, we are our finances are strapped. People do not even have the money to give alms anymore. There's no coin left in the bowl of offering. And this errand that you're on, this a relic of the dwarves, are you not concerned about that? If it is what you say it is, would not the dwarves be seething and frothing at the mouth to claim its ownership and bring it into their halls to settle their internecine disputes, or give credence to one dwarf thane over another?
A dwarven civil war would still be far less damaging to this community and to the shield lands than the invasion by the giants. It would certainly be my hope that the unity built defeating the giants would be stronger than the Thane's own ambitions. But at the moment, and he puts his hand on his sword, I've been forced to focus on more immediate concerns. And this is an opportunity that I cannot pass up.
And where did you come about this information that leads you on this dangerous quest, leaving your family, your flock here at a time when when the campaigns will start soon? Who knows if this is the time when the giants will finally make their